Peace, power, and love sent from above, from divine essence and decree on the pathway of our ancestors to give us the key to understanding the universe of the divine energy that be in our temple. Again, Blackanized international Nubian consciousness. Conscious chess moves before the sun rise. And again, trying to stimulate, motivate, and agitate us as a people to come together in unification and elevation and pure thoughts and developing of our community, taking control of our community as a people united in a united effort so that we can control what goes on in our community, so we can protect our children in our community, so that we can develop our community with high standards of divine spirituality and correctness of our behavior in our community, every aspect and everyone in our community, even the misdirected souls in our community, those whose mentality is based on, say, misdirected information or the animalistic nature or predatorial nature that we have, that we haven't overcome and haven't dealt with spiritual knowledge, culture knowledge of who we are as a people. We have to do this. We have to do this in unison as a group effort, a community effort. Because we can see what's going on around us in this political climate that we're in. The leadership is stagnated in alternative facts. And see, we don't want to become victimized by their control of our reality, or the control of this political system that will have a dire effect upon us and their activities as they continue to manipulate their position of power. We must, as a people, come together and develop on all levels. We got to pool our resources, and those who have an excess of resources, we got to come together and build. Because you have the financial wherewithal to do this. All of us got to be proactive in this activity. And I'm talking about our entertainers, our athletes, and our billionaires. Or we have to come out this selfish mode that we're in. And there's a lot of them doing a lot of things. I have to say that. Sending people to college and all that. But we have to establish institutions in our community. So we know what's lacking in our community. We know that there's a lack of recreation centers, institutions of learning, culture learning, spiritual learning, of African spirituality to enhance whatever religious aspect that we prefer to journey into or whatever. But it got to be based on African spirituality. We have to go back to the future to understand our essence, our culture reality that applies to us as a people, that won't alienate us from ourselves and our nature. It's the divine nature that we have to tap back into spiritually, energetically, and culturally. Because where we at now in this reality, in this this realm, in this domain, is becoming real chaotic. Have never seen anything like this. The people that's in leadership usually have a better hold on their mannerism, their poly tricks, and their deception. But for it not even be in office for a full, complete month and be in this chaotic dilemma that they find themselves in is really disheartening for people that have control over our livelihood, in a sense, control mechanisms that will affect us as a people. We see that their deceit, we see that their corrupt mentality is harmful to what they so-called supposed to believe in and uphold. The Constitution they supposed to uphold it seems like they trying to get rid of it, disillusion it, and keep us in this dilemma that we in, because they have control over us and our livelihood, and they have people with so-called patriotic duty or whatever, to the extent that they suffer from the social narcotics of white supremacy and institutionalized racism, to where as an order is given, they might try to carry it out. I mean, and that's every ethnic group that's part of that scenario. I'm talking about from the alphabet men all the way down to the Army, National Guards, and police. It's coming to a head, it seems, real quickly. Hopefully that by divine intervention that it doesn't occur, but these mad scientists and these people that have a God complex, taking everything out of context in the political machinery that exists. So we must not get caught up in it. We must stand down and just step back, working though, preparing for whatever may happen. We may have to prepare for if something happened to the energy grid and cut out all the lights and all that stuff. Are we ready to be able to sustain ourselves without going into a frenzy of rioting and looting? We're going to have to be organized in everything that we did. And I suggest that we should look up some of the videos on Brother Steve Coakley. He had mentioned that it may get to a situation like this, anarchy or police state or whatever, or just total, chaotic situation. So will we be able to sustain and protect our children? And, will people that have talent like cooks and doctors come together and we be like in a unit, and helping one another to sustain ourselves through an ordeal, a classic ordeal, that where it's like chaos and total confusion. And we can't be part of that. We got to be organized as a people in our communities nationwide. Because my feelings is something is coming down the line. It's a natural calamity or a planned calamity by this cabal states to try to get into their next phase of what they're trying to deal with, is the New World Order. So we got to prepare for that. They're trying to get a New World Order through chaos and confusion. But we have to be part of this divine order that's naturally for us and our inclination as a people. And we have to unify in that divine African spirituality that we have to attain and live within our mentality and perception. and overcome our indoctrination of this institutionalized racism mixed up with a lot of foolery and deception. And we must, as a people, do this yesterday, because the time is moving fast. Time ain't waiting for us, and it's moving fast. Just look at the signs around you. It is what? Getting ready to be March, just like that. Time is moving fast, and some people say we're in the last days in time, but there's no telling. And how many? What's time when it is in accordance with the divine decree? Time can be so long, or it could be so short. But we can't get caught out in the cold in the winter in America, or the summer heat in the summer in America. We got to develop. We got to keep developing no matter what. People say that when you talk about unity, we got to unify and organize and come together. People say we can't do it. It can't be done. If you keep saying it can't, it won't. You got to say it will, and we will, and it can be done. Just like some of the brothers on the over there in Akabu land, so-called Africa, we say we need a United States of Africa. Oh, they say we can't do it. Why can't we do it? Because the mentality and the spirit that you have saying you can't do it. We are the divine people. We are a divine people. If we had these great, no, it's not F. When we had these great civilizations of the past, it wasn't that we couldn't do it. We done it. That's what we done. We done it through our hands and our minds. And what can I say? If we did it then, we can do it now. All it is, see, they trying to replicate what we had. We don't have to replicate it. It comes from us. All we had to do is lock into it. Lock into the spirituality and the mentality and the culture of what we got within. Because it's within our DNA. It's within this temple. The energy of the Creator is in us. The understanding of the universe is within us. So we must understand the universe so we can have an effect upon this universe once again. And we talk about what's getting ready to happen. Are we ready? People be, we got a lot of people that's arming up and talking about revolution. But are we really ready for revolution? Are we really ready to go out meals 3 or 4 days straight? Are we really ready to kill organized in an organized way as an army? It's a lot of things to go with that. It just ain't no word, it's an action. That's why Malcolm said it would be the ballot or the bullet. We thought we had the ballot with Brother Obama. But Brother Obama wasn't a true brother to the extent that he helped us like we were from the same mother. But I don't think it's like he was part of the plan to get in Africa and, with the black face and dealing with, because it's a black man, and people don't know he wasn't the first black president. He was the first black president of modern times, and that a black man that you can surely know that was black. He wasn't like a mulatto passing for white. He was black skin, white mask, as Fred Fanon would say. But he played his part, and, people got a lot of love for him. But we got to love one another in this day and time. We got to come together as brothers and sisters, extended family. We got to come together as a village nationwide. Don't you? And like last year in Chicago, right? Don't you know they had 760 some or 80 some murders? That's a lot of people, man. That's a lot of people that get caught up in a criminal activity. I ain't saying that all that was done by our brothers that's, in their animalistic, predatorial nature. I believe some people had, agent provocateurs, because we got spiritual and culture agent provocateurs also. We got agent provocateurs that work for the system, that's in them police uniforms or whoever else to come in our communities and do stuff like missing bodies and people being kidnapped and all that. That's an organized crime for body parts, sex rings, or melanin or whatever. And all that go on in our community because we're not being watchful. We got to be watchful in our community. We can't give this job to the police because it's a job for them. But we live within our communities. So we gotta be the protectors of our communities. Because like I said, it's not a job, it's our life. It should be our livelihood because it's our children that supposedly is supposed to be the next generation of leaders. If this system or this society can stay intact, it's supposed to be 4 years for this emperor now in this on the throne in the United States, United Snakes of hypocrisy under satanic administration. Now we can see that clearly. We can see that concept. Snakes are lesser than hypocrites, but it's United Snakes of hypocrisy, because that's what they snake. They are snakes. They're crawling on their belly, implementing things to cripple us, cripple the system, and under satanic administration, Masonic rule, or the Illuminati, the Kabul states, and it's satanic in the sense that it's evil. It's not good. It's not positive energy. We need to establish that positive energy in our immediate areas, beginning with ourselves, our families, the community, then the nation, then connection worldwide, because it's a global pandemic that's going on. These people want global control. That's why we got to unite and network internationally. But it all, like they say, all politics starts locally. So we must do it here first. We must do it in our homes first, within our temples first, and have a pure concept of what we're trying to do. So we don't have ulterior motives, that we don't be manipulative, that we don't be arrogant and self-centered and egotistical of that nature to manipulate people's emotions and all that. It can't be about that. We got to be honest. We got to be truthful. We got to be divine essence. We got to be the blessing that our people need, that we need for one another. We got to be soldiers in the circle of the Creator, on the pathway of our ancestors. We have to go back to the future and ascertain the information of our ancestors and African spirituality. That's going to be our saving grace to get back in our nature, to come out of this dilemma of being programmed as robots, being deculturized as a people of greatness, a people of divine energy, a people of spirituality and righteousness. We have our idiosyncrasies and our baggage and all that, in our relationships and all that, but we are great people once we open our eyes and stop walking around with our eyes wide shut. And we know that they manipulate the frequencies and vibrations and energy. We know that they got a machine called the HOP to manipulate the weather. Just like air conditioning, they condition the air the same way they condition your mind. We got to know that. We got to be righteous. We got to be understanding of who we are as a people, and we must support one another. Economically, we must establish the concept of how to be entrepreneurs in our community. We must guide our youth and to give them direction. We must open up the doors to rec centers again, have them somewhere to come so they don't have to be on the street corner. Give them jobs. We gotta ask our youth what they want. We gotta go to the corners in the trenches and ask them what they want. And when they say what they want, we gotta give it to them. Then we know that ain't the answer. If we give our youth what they want, not what they want, but what they need in reality, because their wants may be aspirated, because they manipulate our aspirations and warp them out. We need to give them what they need. We know what they need because we've been in their spots, and the youth of the day know what they need. They need some recreation, somewhere they can go and chill out instead of being on the street corner. They need like jobs, something that can put some money in their pocket. Even though it ain't gonna be I don't think that they're getting money like they used to get, because everything been what they say, inflation. So inflation, when it occurs in the system, it occurs on the street corners too. But it's just more ample on the street corners, and you seem like you got freedom, but it ain't no freedom, because they're trying to take your freedom away. It's a trap on the street corner. It's a trap. Either you can go under the ground, the grass under the earth, or you can go in confinement. Slow motion time, a slow motion world where you're in confinement and you're in an unnatural state of being. You're no longer with your family. It's either that or that. I mean, it's going to be one or the other. You'll be successful for a while, but believe me, if they got satellites up in the sky, they can see a dime on a payment, then they can see what you're doing every day. But they allow you to do it because they manipulated you to do it. It's for self-destruction. It's not a game, it's their game being played on us. It's a con game being played on us, and we got to wake up, especially our youth, our young adults and our youth. And see, they manipulating them at a very young age now, and through all this, the things they listen to, and everybody, they want a rapper's contract. That's the new way to make money. Or, the athletes still do that. But where's the doctors? Where are we promoting people, our youth, to be doctors, physicians, lawyers, or whatever? It ain't all about the athletes or athleticism can open the door for you, but you got to use your mind, because all the people that go for that athletic employment don't make it. But you got to use your ability to open the door to get, say, their indoctrination or education. Long as you get your own, and you got to study on your own. You have to become self-indulgent to deal with who you are as a person, culturally and spiritually. And you can go Christianity, you go to Islam, you can go to Hebrew Israelite, you can go to all that. And even being conscious of whatever, you have to go black, to the source, to the core of the beginning of who we are. And that's the African spirituality. You can say Exium, Akabulan, or whatever, or the name. Today we call it as Africa. But we got to go black. We got to go back black to in the core of understanding of who we are, our culture identity. Because we've been manipulated by the people who stole our culture and distorted it through his lies, which he called his story. It's our story. If you go over to the Vatican and they let you in the basement of them hallways under the Vatican, you will see a lot of things that belong to us, replicas of our knowledge and our wisdom that they got underground, that they went in the ancient Kemet and the interior of Akabulan, Africa, Timbuktu. They got information, they got documents, they got everything, but they don't know how to use it. And even in Haiti, where the so-called, they say voodoo and all that, voodoo, see, they use it to a negative energy, not to heal people like we use it. So we can't get caught up in what they say and their story pertaining to our story, because his story is a story of lies and deception. And you can see that clearly today. You can see it clearly today as the top man on the throne, the emperor of this Roman fraudulent law, this Roman system under the Cardinal states related to the Vatican, England and London, and here in D.C. It's a Cardinal states. It's states of corruption and deception. They have us in a quagmire maze of deception and a distorted reality. They want us to go through this maze and all that and come out on the other side and become what? A clone, having a mentality of not of who you are. You have the melanin, but you got the mentality of self-destruction. You become deculturized and don't realize who you are because you become somebody else. That's what they teach you in instruction. Unless you go in there and know who you are, be fortified in who you are. And they'll attain that knowledge, but attain it for the benefit not only of yourself, but of the community as a collective, as a whole, dealing with yourself, your family, then the collective. We have to come out of that competitive nature that they instill in us and develop that cooperative nature that we have by nature, by our divine nature. And we have to realize that we're at war. It's a silent war. It's a subtle war, but it's a war. It's a war that they try to change our character, try to change our manhood and our womanhood. And they're doing a good job of it. Look at our youth. Look at our young sisters. Look at our young brothers. And then we got to stop showing this nonsense on YouTube about the immunization and feminization of the men and the immunization of our women and all this nonsense about fighting and all that. We got to get a grip on ourselves. We got to be the word of peace and harmony and love. We got to stop killing ourselves at war. We got a war on the street that ain't even our war. We got a war that's created by those in the principalities and high seats. These people that supposed to be about the people, they're about themselves. You see the circle of billionaires that this guy got? You see the circle of corruption that these people, you gonna tell me they didn't do a background check on that dude, Fanley or whatever his name is, the NSC director? You gonna tell me they ain't do a background check on him? You gonna tell me that man in that high position and doing the things that he's doing that came to light today, yesterday, or whatever? You don't think he been doing that stuff before that? Come on now. And everybody is not in their position of what they know how to do in that circle. And it's insane. It's insanity. The hillbillies has taken over the White House. A man that's egotistically egomaniac. He a businessman. He know all that. The people, I give him that, or the people give him that. But he's corrupt even in that, where he's a slumlord, multi-billionaire or multi-millionaire slumlord. But he is in a position of leadership because he stimulated, agitated that beast in the nature of the Niagara and some other people that's Negro pen or whatever. However he got in there, he's in there. And they say, give him a chance. Give him a chance for what? We got to, because that's how the system is. But while he's doing what he's doing, you can see what he's doing. He's definitely corrupt. His attitude that he had before he came in there, same attitude that he got now and worse, because he think he got the power. And the people he's bringing in there, they just ain't have the type of mentality that they have when their co-workers, their fellow politicians knew that they're white supremacy and white nationalists. And they just didn't get that way today. They've been that way since they've been in the office. So the things that they're getting exposed for now, they're only getting exposed for it. But they've been doing it and getting away with it. But now they're under the microscope. We got to realize that we can't let them choke our life out of us, our substance out of us. We got to take control of our communities. We got to come together in unity and stop saying we can't do that. We can't do that. We can do what we want to do. First, we got to stop it here within our temples, within our spirits. Once we stop it, we stop the talk and change the language and change the mentality. Anything will happen, and everything that would happen that we bring into manifest. We manifest a thought into reality. Just like Martin Luther King had the dream, but he said it turned into a nightmare because he couldn't manifest it because of the blockage of these demonic people, these culture killers, these spiritual killers, these agent provocateurs, culture and spiritual agent provocateurs that'll work against you. We got a lot of people that will work against us. We got the gatekeepers. We got the so-called boule and all that, the talented tenth and all that. These affluent people that we see them sometimes during the year. It'd be the summertime. They'd be having their fur coats on in the summertime. It'd be so hot, but they want to show their riches or whatever, or how much they got. But we ain't got nothing unless we all got it. Like Ray Charles said, we ain't free until all of us free. But we got to become free mentally and spiritually. We got to change the language about what we can't do. We can't do what we put our minds and our spirits to. We can do it. Change the language. Change your mentality. Change your spirit. We got to, for the salvation of our children, for the next generation of our leaders, which is our young children, our young adults that got something on their mind. They see something in the future because the Creator is in their heart. They got a perspective that they can do it. And we got to do it. If we don't do it, it ain't going to be done. I ain't saying this is our last chance or we're at the last days and time. Could be, but that time could be a long amount of time. But we know we're dealing with 4 years now with an insane personality at this who's driving us at the steering wheel, who's guiding us into what? Into a relationship with so-called Cold War enemy, and we got the North Korean over there just salivating, seeing what's going to happen next. We got the Chinese over there, and we got the Japanese too. Because don't we forget, these people bombed the Japanese. 2-3 times they dropped some atomic bombs on these people, man. Destroyed their whole infrastructure. You think they forgot that? Do you think they forgot that? We didn't do that. Because we can always talk about we. It ain't we. It's America and those people that control America, which is the European. We got to know that we ain't had nothing to do with that. Excuse me. The people that control the political machinery got to pay for what they done. You don't think they got to pay for what they done to us? Excuse me. You think the Creator is not going to, through universal laws, that they ain't got to pay for all the rapes, all the lynching, all the burning, all the bombing, everything they did to us, the miseducation, the experimentation? You think they're not going to pay for that? Or you just going to keep turning the other cheek and forgive and forget with this thing they talk about in the book of Bible, say the Bible? I ain't got nothing against my Christian brothers, and I ain't got nothing against the Muslim brothers. I ain't got nothing against the Hebrew Israelites. I ain't got nothing against nobody. I just love my people, and my people are the most majority in every one of those institutions of spirituality. And I know that if it's only one Creator, which it is, one universal Creator, one universal, that we are part of that of a whole. Whatever door you go into to reach this is cool, but we got to realize that we're one people, and that's how we got to deal with the situation and the circumstances. Excuse me, one more time, please. Man, because if we don't do nothing about it, ain't nothing gonna get done. See, it's a divine essence, a universal essence that's opening up the consciousness. Because with what, last 2 or 3 years, 4 or 5 years, we got this concept of awakening or conscious, everybody conscious now and stuff like that. Where if we don't do nothing about that, mold it and shape it and bring it together in unification, spirit or spirituality and culture, a culture reality, and stop playing games, stop drinking all the time, getting high all the time, celebrating all the time. We celebrating what? We are almost celebrating our demise culturally, because we becoming what? Immunization. We becoming emasculated. We becoming all that. And we see it happening right before our eyes with our youth, because that's who they get first. Because our youth, our young adults are the next generation. So if they bring up a generation of homosexuals, genderless thinking, going against nature, but it's all right, it's cool. How can it be cool? I'm not attacking anybody, but how can you go against nature and say it's cool? It's not cool. It's a form of warfare, depopulation. Because if we ain't cohabitating, then we ain't mating. And if we ain't mating, we ain't bringing up our generation. See, they dying out naturally, and it's a scientific fact that the sun, see, that's the divine decree that's on them, their lack of melanin, protection from the ultraviolet rays. And see, we have to understand that as a people, and we have to get into the essence of who we are as a divine people and stop the madness. We got to stop it within ourselves and purify ourselves first and deal with divine decree in the temple. And we got to go back to the future, to African spirituality, to ascertain our culture of a people, as a people. And long as we are unified, we got to come together in one reality, one purpose, one aim, one goal, to establish harmony and peace on the planet once again. We got to think universally. We got to think spiritually. We got to change the language. We got to change our actions and everything. Because this war in our community all over the country, man. This man done sent some National Guards into Chicago to take care of a problem that we can take care of it. We don't need them. We don't need the police. We don't need that at all. That is an act of war against us on another level. That's an act of like almost establishing a police state or anarchy. And then on the other side of that, we're being attacked from from the political front, for the manipulation of the political front, because if they get these hillbillies to come out of the South and whatever with these hoods on, taking their hoods off, and they become police and judges and all that. Yeah, Galen Coles just made mention of the chemtrails and all that, and these scientists dealing with HOP and all that to block the sun rays from burning them. They're trying to develop a grid up there. The grid is harmful to them, and it's also not that harmful to us, but it is. We need the sunlight. We love the sunlight. It's the energy that energizes us. But we got to come together. We got to deal with all our situations and circumstances as a people that has to come about a change, the revolution within ourselves first. And we can be our worst enemies first and foremost. That's why we got to purify ourselves, so we won't have no ulterior motive. So we won't sell our souls for the contract and for the money, this fraudulent fiat money. We need to survive. We got to survive. We definitely got to do that. But let's do it together. Let's through collaboration and cooperation among us. And wherever we go with the effort to help each other. Wherever we at is for the effort to help each other, no matter what. We got to come out this paradigm, and I got mine, and you got to get yours. We got to come out. It's going to be some Negro pens. It's going to be those patriotic Negro pens and all that, you know, so caught up on that master-slave mentality. I ain't even gonna go that far. I ain't gonna be derogatory in my language and call somebody bootlickers and all that type of stuff. Cause we got to uplift us. We even got to go reach those Negro pens and say, come on home where you belong. And if you don't, then you gotta stay on your side. But whatever happens when they say we don't need you no longer and you be in the middle, that's on you because you decided to be there. We got to come together as a people. Yesterday, we got to change our thoughts. We got to change our mind. We got to bring about a change of evolutionary, revolutionary proportions to come into the being, the natural being, the divine being of who we are as divine beings, of melanated individuals are on the planet Earth, but we got to start locally first. Let's develop where we at and do it yesterday. Be sincere with it. Whatever you bring to the table of a positive, constructive implement that will help us grow. We can't have no ulterior motives, man. You know, can't do that. Can't sell our soul. Can't do that. We got to change for the better. And today, when you leave your house to go deal with your endeavors of sustaining yourself and your family, remember, it takes a village to raise a child. We have to protect our children because the epidemic of missing children is widening and it's here now. It's in our backyard, in our front yard. We got to be aware of that and protect our children, protect our women, protect each other, take control of our community because whatever coming down the line, we got to be prepared for it. We can't be chaotic and confused. We got to be unified like an army, I got to always refer to the nation because they're black men. They organize. I don't see it in the churches like I see it with them, but it may be there too. But I can see them, the NOI and the FOI, that organized unit there. We got to be an army like that on our street corners. Our young brothers, we got to be organized. We can be together. We don't have to be in the same unit, but we got to be together, unified in one goal, one purpose, and one aim. That's the red, black, and green. The blood that our ancestors bled. The land for the land that was taken from us and was taken from. From Akaboo land to here, to Australia, where they slaughtered the Aborigine there. To here where they slaughtered us, and then the other Native American, the indigenous brothers here. We got to remember that. You cannot forget nor forget. You can't keep turning. Ain't no turning no other cheek. Can't turn the other cheek. You can't. You can be of the meek. You can be of the humble, and live a life of humility. But you always got to be a warrior. You got to be at war with yourself first. To purify yourself, then you be at war with your natural enemy. And when it comes time, when the trumpet is sounded, when the call is made, you have to stand up. We have to stand up together in a unified effort, not chaotic and confused. We got to know what we got to do and how we got to do it. Those who cook want to cook, and those who going to be doctors or whatever, nurses or whatever, they got to do that. We got to have those to protect the children and the youth. And until that time, let's try to make Thanksgiving every day. Let's try to make Mother's and Father's Day every day. Let's try to make Black Love Day every day. Don't try, let's do that. Let's try to be thankful every day and have Thanksgiving every day. Let's feed somebody every day, not wait till one day out of a year or a week and all these other unholy holidays. Let's stop practicing that. Let's practice our holiday. Let's create our holidays. We got institution. We got Kwanzaa for one. We just got this Black Love Day for two. We got Mother's and Father's Day every day because the mothers and fathers go out and do things to help sustain the family. That should be every day. Well, it got me again, or I got myself again. I don't know. The apparatus went off and cut me short. So I'm just going to close out at this time and say peace, love, and power of the energetic divine essence of our being. I say we come together like we never came together before in this day and this time. And let's soar to the high heights of love and understanding. And in this love and understanding, we come together and control our communities. We give libations to our ancestors, the word, deed, and action. That we come together in the hopes, not the hopes, in the actions of unifying holistically with our brothers in Chicago, with our brothers in LA, our brothers in New York, our brothers in Atlanta, our brothers in every country, inner city of this country called United Snakes of Hypocrisy. This federation, this corporation that don't have our best interests at heart. And we as a people must stop the nonsense that we harm ourselves. We got to stop it. These wars that we have in our community against ourselves got to stop. We got to stop killing ourselves. Self-inflicted genocide is worse than suicide. We got to honor our sisters and hold them in high esteem once again and pay homage to our sisters, the matriarchic melanated queens. There's the backbone of our being to bring all life come through the canal of the Ayani, through our seed that's planted. So we got to come back and go black to the ancient future times of African spirituality. We have to grasp that and be that and come out of this Eurocentric indoctrination that's going to destroy our culturalization. And as you can see, it might destroy this Americanization also. Because we got the hillbillies that come out the mountains. We got the hillbillies and the Neanderthals coming together, unifying, because it's their nature. And see, like the beast-like nature and the deceptive nature that they got is the nature that's in trying to develop a worldwide control against the people with soul. So I say peace, love, and power as I sign out today. And tomorrow, hopefully that the Creator give me the breath of life so that I can continue that struggle, my struggle with myself first, and the struggle against deception, that negative energy, this political machine that's trying to destroy me and my people, mentally, spiritually, economically, physically, on every level. They're trying to keep us subservient and don't want us to rise back to our divine state of being, because they know who we are. We have to find out who we are, those whose eyes haven't opened and walking around with their eyes wide shut and under robot control. Come out of it. Break that tie. Break that chain. Break that link that links you with that system of corruption and be who you are, the divine being that are really the leadership of this planet. If we take it black to where it been, where harmony and peace was when we was in control. Look at the history. Look at the history, how many wars that these people have been into. How many people they had killed. They kill themselves and say it's collateral damage. That's what they do. They start wars on that. But I ain't going to keep talking. I'm supposed to have been signing off. But anyway, I want you to know that I love you. And my love is sincere. Because I love my people. I love myself. And it's a sincere love. I don't have no ulterior motives. I'm not perfect. But my baggage and my idiosyncrasies apply to me. I'm not going to manipulate. I ain't no celebrity. I ain't got no lot of money. I'm a revolutionary activist. I'm just a human being, a melanated. I'm a divine being. I'm a spiritual warrior, a mystical warrior, warrior, priest, king, and a mystic griot. I'm anointed in the light of Christ because Christ ain't nothing but a title. I'm courageous, generous, servant of the sovereign Lord, the King of Kings. And I proclaim that, and I live that. So, with that, I'll see you tomorrow, if it be the will of the Creator. As my Muslim brothers say, or as I would say, Inshallah. And I'll say peace, peace, Assalamu alaikum, salam, hotep, ashe, amen, hallelujah.